Hey, my peoples, welcome to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie,
Today, what's today's discussion, T?
evolving in a marriage.
Oh my God, you want to go there?
Oh,
You want to go there?
yeah, where I don't want to say where the chains are put on you and
Oh,
you gotta, because some people think you just live in it, right? But you kind of grow in it. Imagine
yes.
being married under 21.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
oh, that's a different mindset.
yeah. I mean, but a lot of, not my generation, but the
Mm.
generations before, they got married early when
Oh
they
yeah,
were younger.
yeah, they
And
did.
we look at it like, oh, why would you want to do that? Or how could you do that?
Well, you also have to understand that was a different time and era too.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't live as long back then, so
Right.
you kind of got married early, had a gang of kids. You may have lost some along the way,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
As a survival.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
that's the brood. And then you continue from there because that's the way technology. We didn't really have technology back then, so you had those huge people get married and have 10, 15 kids. There's no way in heck that's going to happen today. No way.
No.
No, it
No.
shouldn't happen.
Mm-mm.
Now, you may have a dude that may have 15 kids. You may have a woman who has 10, 15 kids. Probably not together, but they probably
But
have kids.
yeah, yeah, a combined situation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But normally that's not something that's going to happen. But people people got the wrong idea. They keep thinking it's a rock. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I get married, boom, that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah,
But it's really water.
it moves. It's very fluid. And the whole idea is to stay fluid within the relationship and with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
In order to not necessarily grow together, but
Mm-hmm.
to grow alongside of each other.
Alongside. I'm
Yeah.
glad you made that point because people keep thinking it's like once you get married, that person who's going to be for the rest of his life, she's going to be for the rest of her life, which is a lot. Because if that's the case,
Yeah.
then you both got married and died the same day, so you're going to remain the same because you died.
Absolutely.
Doesn't
Absolutely.
happen
I
that
mean,
way.
think about having babies in the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gains weight, she gains weight,
Sure do.
right?
Sure do.
Are
Yes.
we allowed to change our weights in the relationship?
Happens all the
You
time.
have to. So
Got
if
to.
something as basic as your weight changing, think about all the other things that's going to change with you, and that should change um, throughout the course of the years.
Mm-hmm.
The person you are at 20 better not be the person you are at 25,
Oh God, no.
which should not be the person you are at 30,
No.
which absolutely is not going to be the person you are at 37,
Heck
38,
no.
knocking on 40. You're going to grow and evolve and mature as an adult,
Yes.
and that's going to be reflective inside of the relationship. Now, what is your
Exactly.
mate going to say? Oh, no, I don't like which way you're going with this. Oh, you want to change your job with that? You don't want to do that anymore? How could you do the same job? If you want to change fields or you wanted to grow within your career, how could you stay stagnant there? You
True.
would need somebody, you would need your mate to support you as you changing, staying fluid in
Yes.
the workplace, within your career, in your career growth,
Yes.
right?
Yes, definitely. And
Mm-hmm.
people fail to realize to be married is a unit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not like you have dreams, I have dreams, but we both can have our own dreams, but as a unit we have to support each other. And
Yes.
that may mean you may have to give a little less, a little more to get that person, your partner, to their dreams. It may not be your time. You say, you know what, at this point, it'd probably be easy to get to your dreams now than mine.
Right.
So, okay, let's back your dreams because as a unit, we're gonna benefit from it. It's not like, well, I can't believe she gonna go after her master's degree and I ain't got nothing but a GED. She gonna think she better than me.
If this is done with what you're showing is like a resentment,
Oh,
right?
yes.
It's not done with love, don't do it,
Don't do it.
right?
True.
Because if you can't sacrifice your own happiness for just a moment in time,
Yes.
because you got a whole lifetime to figure this thing out.
Yes, you do.
A lot of times when you're younger, the degrees are the things that you're seeking.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us will look at those 2 years or those 4 years where that sacrifice really is necessary or needed from
Yes.
one person and not necessarily the other,
Mm-hmm.
you'll look at them as being selfish or,
Wow.
not caring.
Yeah.
Or, you're just resentful as opposed to, hey, let's just go through this and give it all that we got.
Yes. Do the best for each other because as a
Hmm.
unit we all grow.
We all will grow, and this will serve whatever is being sacrificed to work towards something. It's going to serve both of us for years to come, hopefully.
Yes. We're not
Right?
planning for right now. We're
No.
looking for the long run, the long haul, and that means you're gonna put in that work. You're gonna do the dirty work because
Mhm.
we're building a house together.
Mhm.
This is like building a house. You say, here's a piece of land. We done bought the piece of land, and now we're sitting there saying we want this type of house. So we're gonna have to do the blueprint. So we got to figure out what you want. Here's what I want. You have to compromise. You have to pick and choose some things. Some things I'm gonna let you have because
Yep.
that's what you want.
Yep. And you care more about that, and there's some things, what, I'm gonna care a little bit more for it, and I'm gonna hope that you let me have it. Right? So I'm gonna make that little
Exactly.
sacrifice.
Exactly. And I don't
Mhm.
understand why people are so confused that wants to get married. Now all of a sudden, you're not this and you're not that. Here's the thing. Once you have a conversation, a real conversation, before you even think about doing anything, getting married or having kids or any of that, sit down and say, what do you really want out of this relationship? What do you want? And be honest. Don't sit there and say, well, if I tell him this, maybe he may not like it. That's not the point. The point is,
Mhm.
if you're going to sacrifice in this particular unit, then you have to put it all on the table. You got to put all your chips in the middle and say, I'm
Yes.
all in, and here's what I'm going to need from you in order for me to be happy and be a part of this unit from now to the end of time. Case in point, I'm gonna have to do that. Put it all in and say, here's what I need. And along that, we say, okay, let's come with a plan how we do this. But it amazes me, people do it all the time. They hold back on really telling you because I don't think he he don't really need to know all this. He just
Mhm.
need to know this.
Or she.
Or she.
She don't really need to know all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or she don't really need to know all of that. Sometimes you hold back bits and pieces of your finances, where you really at, the debts that you have, um, as opposed to just being forthcoming with these things. Because had you had said something to the proper mate that you
Mm-hmm.
had attracted, they probably would have helped you devise a plan that'll help you conquer whatever it is that you're trying to hold back.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And the other thing is stop bringing old baggage into your relationship. A
Mhm.
lot of people forget baggage. What you should do, everything should be a lesson or a blessing.
Mhm.
Every relationship, you can learn the good and the bad. You use that to make better decisions. You don't use that to every time you meet someone to say, oh, well, you remind me of such and such. So that dude's always with you. So that's why your bag is so heavy, because you got a lot of bodies in that bag that you keep pulling out whenever somebody who you think is the one who does what this other dude that you're carrying on you did to you. So he's going to act like him. Well, everybody's different.
I saw a quote on Instagram the other day, and it said, make sure when you buy a car, the previous owner doesn't still have the keys. I
Oh.
said, ah,
Oh.
ah. I ain't talking
Oh.
about a car,
No. That's
right?
that's
And
oh.
that's that, man. I'm talking about, bow, punch me right in the face. Cause
Yes.
true that, right?
Yes.
True that,
It's
because that's exactly what the baggage that you're referencing um, is, right?
yep.
You still allowing people to hold on to little pieces of you that control you just a little bit different.
Oh my God, control you. Can you
Yeah, they
imagine
do.
the ghosts control you? Their
Mhm.
ghosts control because they're not in your life anymore.
They're
They've been
not.
gone, but they got spaces in your mind. They're in the
Mhm.
different crevices of your brain. So someone who's you dated 30 years ago,
Yep.
still in your head.
Yep.
You're not even an afterthought to them. They're
Yep.
not even thinking about you. They're moving on with their life, but you still carrying it. You still carrying that hurt, that brokenness, that feeling. Why are you carrying it? What's the purpose? So the next person can suffer because you got hurt. Everybody gets hurt.
Yep. And you go into the relationships and you're not forthcoming that you're still carrying that.
So how can you stand in front of all the people, the Lord Himself, and look at each other in the eye and be saying, yes, I'm going to do this, and especially in the back of your head, I really don't trust this cat
Mhm.
because he done some things that make me really question him.
And you won't say it out loud.
Will not say it out loud. Won't say it at all. But it's in your head and it's
Mhm.
constant.
Mhm.
It's almost like another voice in your head just telling you.
Mhm.
It's almost like if he was a player before and he settled down with you, but you knew he was a player. In your head, you can't come put that he was a player to rest because you didn't marry the player. You married this guy that you met now, not the guy he was whenever before you met him. But if you have to drag his history along with who he is right now, not that the history he continues that history is that's a part of his. Everybody got history. Everybody got
You
body.
can't be defined by where you
No,
were.
no. If that's the case,
Yeah.
then nobody would never get married because you start bringing back. Oh, how many body counts you had? Oh, I got body counts.
It's like the idea of loving someone unconditionally, right?
Yep.
But you don't even know the conditions that exist here.
Wow.
Right? So how can you grow with someone when you don't actually even know what we're supposed to be growing through?
Ooh, that is so true. That is very true. I just I think people really need to reevaluate their vision of marriage is. I mean, if marriage is this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, you have to be honest. Because if in your head you have to say, well, I don't like this about him, and you didn't tell him about it, then you're lying to yourself and you're actually lying to your partner because he or she doesn't know. They're gonna base what you say. If you say I'm cool with you, I know your history and I'm good with that, and we're gonna move forward based on the unit we're gonna put together and go here, that's what you should do. But if you're gonna hold somebody's past against them, then don't marry them because that's gonna eventually break up your unit.
Yeah, that's going to eat away and fester. And, who wants to do that?
No,
Who wants to do it? You sitting there paying for something you done did years ago. I'm not
years.
doing that.
And who wants to hear that all the time? Because if okay, I call you, you don't pick up the phone. I won't say, oh, well, maybe she's busy or something. If I go to, oh, he must be playing around. Because if he don't answer the phone, he got to be playing around. I'm gonna check his phone when he come in. If I got to check your phone, I shouldn't have married you in the first place because I didn't just start when we got married. That started way before him, but you kept thinking that I'm going to change him when we get married. That's
Or
I
at
assume
this
women.
point, when you're looking through the phone, it's like I'm gonna put parameters on them to try
Oh,
to get them to change their own behavior now, right? Because you
oh,
assume that you're doing something in darkness, right?
yes.
And you assume that if you brought it to the light and they felt like they couldn't play in the darkness, that they would change the behavior,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And normally, what ends up happening is that just isn't the case.
No, it isn't.
Because it doesn't matter where that person is at. What matters is where they want to be.
Where they want to be.
Yeah, like where your heart is at. If you
Yes.
sitting down next to your mate and you can be obedient and you can just, I'm there with my mate and doing everything I'm supposed to do. But in my heart, I'm thinking about somebody else. And
Oh,
in my mind, I'm thinking about somebody else.
oh.
What's the point?
Yeah, what is the point?
Yeah,
Because what are you doing
because I can't be honest,
with the person you
right?
married? The person that you told everybody we're gonna ride and die together. If you can't be honest with them, why even walk down the aisle to even do that? But it takes. If you start off, it's almost like the old days when I learned cobalt. It was like garbage in, garbage out. So the end result is always going to be garbage because you put garbage in. So of course garbage is going to come out on your reports.
Absolutely.
Same thing with relationships. If you start off with putting garbage in and thinking that I don't have to tell him everything about me, that maybe along the way, I can go and I'm going through some things because again, you may have somebody who's broken. We talk about being broken and shattered. And if you don't deal with that, you shouldn't get married to anybody in the first place. You need to handle yourself before you start bringing somebody else into a mess. Especially if you know I messed up and I need to
And
give
I'm
myself.
I'm not ready to be forthcoming about who I am.
There you
And
go.
for a lot of women, that is the case.
Wow.
Keep it just keeping it 100.
Wow.
A lot of women, when you come into a relationship, whether you lack the maturity, which a lot of times that's just that.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not mature enough you've did not exercised communicating enough in order to have that conversation about who you really are. And
Yeah.
if you don't know who you really are, do you know what you really need?
Oh, no, you really don't.
Again, we speak into maturity, right? And so if
Yeah.
you're willing to walk down the aisle with someone who's, I'm sorry, youngin'. A lot of us
Yes.
get married when we're young, still,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And if you're not willing to grow with someone, right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that relationship is not going to go anywhere far
It won't.
because no one's allowed to grow. No one's allowed to move. No one's allowed to shift. You have to be allowed to shift, move, and grow in a relationship,
You
especially within a marriage.
got to.
Hmm.
And you have to be aware that it's not always going to be pretty.
No.
Because this thing called growth could be an ugly situation, especially if someone's growing. And again, you don't really know how you're going to grow. You don't know
Hmm.
how the timeline is going to take to grow. You can't say, "Well, I'm growing 6 months." You don't know.
Hmm.
And growth is consistent. It's constant. And a lot of people don't may not like about how you grow,
Hmm.
but if you're in this together, you're going to support them in their growth. Like they're
Yes.
going to support you in your growth.
Yes.
And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be terrifying.
Hmm.
What we always say, growth is uncomfortable,
It is.
and
It
it will
is.
always be uncomfortable because you're changing from something you're comfortable in doing, and I know this person, to the unknown.
See, because what you thought is that you were supposed to engage in your growth with your spouse
Mm-hmm.
or with your mate, like directly. That's why I started off and said you're growing alongside of that person, right? If
Yes.
I'm inside of my workplace and my growth is occurring inside of the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm getting beat up in the workplace,
All day
right?
long. Yep.
I'm not getting beat up by my household. So when I go into the home and I speak about the growth that occurred inside of the workplace, my home is my sanctuary. That's my safe
Yes.
place,
Yes.
right? I take it all off and give it to him,
Yes.
baby, please. Or at
Yes.
least I should be able to.
Should
The
be able to.
person you come in and decompress with, right?
Yes.
And vice versa, right? Come
Yes.
home, take it all off, right?
Exactly.
We decompress together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're out in the world growing
Yes.
alongside of each other. But our household should be our safe space.
That is your household is your hub. That is where you go to renew yourself, regenerate yourself, and get ready for the fight. Because it's gonna be a fight. When you get out of the house, you supposed to go home. It's like in between rounds, like a boxing match.
The
You
peace
sit.
place. The
Yes.
place to find that peace at, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't get peace at home, then why in the
Woo.
hell do you even get
Woo.
married?
Woo. Man.
Think about it. So that
Man.
means you're
Yeah.
constantly in a state of war. You're constantly in a state
Yeah.
of fighting. You're constantly there is no reprieval. There is no calmness. There is no rejuvenation. It's always tension. It's always fighting. It's always so eventually that starts to wear on you. You can't constantly fight and don't get yourself back to a normal space, back to
You
center.
can't recharge.
Yes,
You have to
can't.
stop.
You have to.
You have to just be still in order to recharge. And if that household is not still that you're going into to recharge in, you're not that growth is going to be stagnant.
Oh, now
Right.
you pour bleach on the flower. It's not water on the flower. It's bleach. And you're wondering why. I wonder why my flowers not dry or not growing because you don't put bleach in it.
Yeah, and so what we see normally in situations where it's like a stagnated marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would see the couple that's struggling with finances, who perhaps maybe you weren't struggling before.
Yes.
Maybe money didn't necessarily change, but nobody's paying attention to the finances because you guys are just going, going, going. Because now you're blindsided by the chaos inside the household,
Yep.
right? Or the goals that you wanted to attain, they've kind of just gone to the wayside because you're just blindsided now. For a lot of people, it might be just anger, or it might be your energy level is just depleted.
Exactly.
And so you would see a lot of the things that perhaps you should have attained
Mm-hmm.
not being attained now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so when you see married couples and you compare them to other couples and you're like, well, we ain't got that, or, dang, we still ain't get to that. It's
Yep.
probably because over the course of that growth, right, at
Hmm.
some point, we kind of lost our way, right?
That is very, very true. And that's why communication is the key
Mm-hmm.
to success. Nobody knows what's on your mind. Nobody's a mind
Yes.
reader. Nobody can look at a crystal ball and say, I wonder what T's taking today. Why is she so upset?
Yes.
You have to have a conversation of what's going on. And you got to be honest enough to say, I really care about why I'm asking that question
Yeah.
because I know there's a problem and we need to solve this problem.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's figure it out. And it may be something I don't want to hear, but I
Mm-hmm.
need to hear it because
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to get to the next level, I may have to do something different. I may have thought I was doing great,
Yep.
but then you're like, no, but you drink a lot and you spend a lot of money on liquor, you spend a lot of money on on lottery tickets, and you spend a lot of money on this. To me, I'm thinking, well, all I'm doing is $10 here and there, but then you
Mm-hmm.
start thinking, wait a minute, if I do $10 a day, at 7 days a week, that's $70. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's stopping us from doing a lot of things over a year period. That could be paying off a car payment. That could be working on paying off old bills that you had. That you have some old bills. Say we trying to buy a house,
Yep.
and we know that you have some old stuff on your stuff way before we met, but it's still on your credit. I'm gonna have to say, you know what? In order for us to get this house together, then I'm gonna have to help you get your stuff straight. That's our plan. I'm gonna cut back on drinking. I'm gonna cut back on playing lottery because I want to make sure that we get your stuff straight so we can go to the house that we're trying to build, with the house we're trying to get. So that means you have to sacrifice. You have
You
to
do.
say, you guys, well, that's her bill. I don't know what you're gonna do because that's before me. But you're a unit now.
Mm-hmm.
You're a team. So we're in this together. Not what. Don't bring in all the other stuff from before. I don't want to be in a house with 20 different people because all this has been going on and see these people.
Inside of your head, and you ain't mentioned that old, oh, old boy who you met back in high school. You know, you still care about, think about, and you visit him once a year, type of thing.
Oh,
I mean,
God dang.
just like straight up. What do
Dang.
you need in life? And be
Yep.
honest about it, right?
Yeah.
And women, maybe, you know, we definitely have a problem with honesty in that arena.
Yeah.
Especially the younger woman, which is the one that, you know, the man loves to attract, right? And so that's why you have so many issues as they talk about, you know, the woman in the dating realm. Well,
Yes.
that's fine for dating, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're going to walk into a marriage with someone, that's something that you definitely should have overcome while dating,
Yes.
because there's a difference.
A huge difference. And I guess the question is, what is your view when you start to look at somebody? If you're getting that serious, what's your view of them? I mean, is it kind of, are you looking at them for who they are? Or are you looking at it for their potential? And I'm asking for a woman's perspective. When you see somebody that you're dating and you see who they currently are you looking at them for who they currently are and what they can be? Or are you just looking at just to fit them in? I see where I want them to be, and by damn it, I'm going to get them to where I need them to be in spite of them.
No, I think it's what they can be, right? And then that feeds into the last part, right? It's sort of all of them. It's sort of all of them, straight up. Because technically, when you see a man, like you see him at his greatest, like, and then you're like, you see him from across the room, like, oh nah, look at King. You don't know if he on his, ish, but you from across the room, you done fantasize him up, like, yes, he's that man.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
In your mind, you already see a man and you see the type of man that he technically should be. And then you get to know him and then you say, okay, is this really who he is? And does he have potential to get to where he's going? Now, the problem with the potential thing is potential at 35 versus 21.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, you got potential at 21.
Yes, yes.
You should have arrived by,
35.
yes.
Oh, at
At
least
least
process.
the process.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Starting,
Yes.
like showing some concrete things
Yes.
that you've on a proper journey to get to where you're trying to go to.
You build the foundation.
Yeah, you're not
and
talking
now-
about you want to get a barber shop or you want to be a barber at 35 and you don't even cut hair.
Oh. Oh.
I've heard stories like this.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You don't even have an album.
What
So
album
you
gonna
don't have no music on the internet at 45.
Nothing.
Like not a poem.
Not a poem, not
Yeah, but
nothing.
yeah, the
Oh my God.
journey.
Yeah, but that.
You gotta start when you reference potential. The potential that you possess, it's valued different depending on the age group that you're in.
Exactly, because at 21, everybody's just starting.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
nobody right now, you don't even know who you are yet.
Mm-hmm.
You basically, you're just trying to. Okay, I just got my mama house. If that's the case, or I'm just finishing up college,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Because I don't. What do you mean you just getting out of your mama house? No, you should still have some things in order at 21 to get out of your mother's house, right?
Yes, you
Like,
should. You should have a plan.
Yeah.
But or if you're planning to fail, because you have no plan, that means
Easy.
you just gonna wing it.
Easy.
Which means why would you want to get a guy who's 21, 22 who's winging
Who's
it?
winging it? Yeah.
So then
That
you expect
doesn't-
him to be better?
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna
in
happen.
line with excellence. What are y'all
No.
about to do together? Fail
Nothing.
and be
You're
miserable.
gonna fail miserably,
then
and
be
you're gonna
mad,
party because for me as a guy, I would say if I'm thinking about you as that point as a man, I was like, you know what, I need to get myself right. I can't be out here doing what I'm doing because again, I know it's gonna mess you up because the one thing you want to do to a woman is to break her trust because you break her trust, it's gonna take forever. I heard someone said you can lose trust by gallons, but gain it back by drops. Because
That's true.
once it's on the floor, now it's like, it's gonna take a while to trust you. And now, as a man, you have to say, "Damn, I did this. Take ownership. I did this. So, am I
But
willing?"
see, a man can regain the trust back. A woman lose a man's trust, that's a wrap.
Oh
Go to
yeah,
wrap
yeah,
that
yeah,
show up. We're
yeah.
done.
Because first of all,
We're
he's
done.
always going to think about. Remember that movie, The Brothers? Was that the movie when they got married? And he was at the, I forgot it was somehow was getting married, and he was saying his vows to his soon-to-be wife. In his mind, he kept flipping back. Okay.
Best man. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
he kept, thank you, man. Because he kept saying, he was saying it to her, and he always imagined his girl having sex with this boy.
Yeah.
And he said, to me, I love you unconditionally. But in his mind,
Yeah.
she's still banging his boy.
Yeah.
It was hard for him to get over that.
It's a man thing. Like
Yes.
a woman, like, no, I don't know what it is. You're going to get over it.
We talked about it, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Men don't trust easy.
No.
We trust way less than women, naturally. So if we trust you as a man with any information, and regardless of gender, and then we find that it comes back out, or we find out that like you turning on us in an argument or whatever, I don't fuck with you at all.
Yeah.
That's just it.
So that puts the value of a woman's loyalty at like the highest. You know, one of the highest things to possess is your loyalty at that point then. When you say, what do you bring to the table? My loyalty. Absolutely. I bring my loyalty.
And let me tell you, as you know, being in the service at one point, there's a fine line between soldier and mercenary. Because the soldier is loyal without fault. Until you do something to that soldier where they say, oh, you know what? My loyalty almost cost me my life. So now I'm a mercenary because I'm doing it for me. It's not you. So at that point, that mind has changed and he's going to move differently because you have broken him. Yeah, because you basically broke his blind loyalty in you. And that's the case. He's like, hey, woman, girl, I trust you with everything.
Think about this damn Destiny Child song, Soldier. I need a soldier, someone who's gonna stand up for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow, yeah.
they chose Soldier for a reason.
Yes.
You want somebody who's there for you unconditionally. Everybody wants a soldier in their life. At man or woman. You want somebody who will stand by you regardless. That's why if you see a woman and she says, you know, my biggest thing is like my man, like regardless of if I'm right or wrong, he has my back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna undermine you outside. I might not agree with you in this moment, but you're my woman. So in this moment, we are fighting the same fight. Until we leave, and in which case somebody say, "What the heck did you just drag me into?" But I'm not gonna have that fight in that exact moment.
In the midst of mixed company, Nah, it's me and you always, all day.
Always.
Okay.
Tight.
Yeah.
Tight.
Now, and if mixed company occurs and we not on the same page, oh, there's a problem.
A huge problem.
There's a problem.
Because you what? Wait
That's
a
a
minute.
major violation.
We are bringing family business, unit business from strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you done really
Yeah.
went sideways on me.
Yeah.
And I want to know where your head at.
Not present. Your emotional mind.
Oh my
literally.
God! See that now we're gonna have an issue because now I don't know where it went wrong, but now we gotta get back in step because we can't have this because that's telling me there's a crack in our foundation, and we need to deal with it because obviously something's been going through your head for a lot that you didn't want to talk to me about, and then something simple. Again, huge arguments don't happen over big things. It happens over you didn't put the cap on the ketchup. What the hell? You don't put it on either. And all of a sudden you went from that a cap. Now you're having a full blown argument about everything that you don't like about her, everything she don't like about you, and you ask yourself, I didn't realize she had all this hostility towards me. And then you're saying, I didn't realize he had all that hostility towards me. How the hell did we get here? Which means along the way you miss communicating. You stop communicating because you start assuming.
Yeah.
Don't ever assume. Because if you start
Or you
seeing
just
things
let
change,
stuff go.
You let stuff go. You keep sweeping on the rug, and after a while, you got a rug with a big hump over it, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" All the stuff we've been sweeping under the rug.
Yeah. And for what?
Yeah, for what?
It's our stuff.
And we see it now. Before you couldn't
why
see
can't-
it.
Yeah, but just let's deal with our stuff. Clean your house. And I'm not
Clean
telling
your
you to
house.
clean your house every day. You know, you can do spring cleaning if you want. You can do big cleaning twice a year and just vacuum the regular carpet daily. I mean, you can clean your house however you want to. But when company come by, it better not be a big lump underneath the rug.
Hey, you know what? A lot of people walk by those rugs and see that hill getting larger and larger, and you just keep saying, "Oh, I don't see it," because then you don't want to deal with it.
You don't want to deal with it, but your mother said something to you about it.
Oh,
Your
yes.
dad said something to y'all about it.
Oh, yes.
You know, our dads, did they say something to both of you?
Oh, yeah, both of y'all.
Uh-huh.
And then you
Equally
still
the
don't
same.
deal with it.
And you still don't want to deal with it.
But then the issue is that you end up in a relationship and you have kids. And the worst part about it is if you don't figure it out, then your kids are the ones who walk past that rug every day. Not your mother, not your father, not your auntie, your cousin, none of that. Your kids.
you about it.
Your kids.
You don't want to
Yeah.
deal with that.
No.
Today is scared because they see all the advice on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yep, exactly.
So the kids will be sending you TikTok.
Talk about boop. You probably didn't read that. You looking at, well, we don't communicate because that's what kids of today can do now. They can
Yep.
put stuff on, send stuff like that to you
Yep.
because to them they don't want to feel like getting in the middle. It's because y'all adults. Y'all should be able to figure this out. We're just kids.
And if you notice the programming that's going on YouTube and Instagram and those little, I don't know what public service announcement ads, I don't know what they are. They create a whole scenario, right?
Yep.
Little Tommy didn't have nice shoes, and so somebody went out and bought little Tommy good. They'll create a whole scenario so kids can get an understanding of exactly what's going on, and they'll talk about relationships, households, things going on in schools. They'll see all types of stuff. So for them to be able to kind of see what's going on in their household and get an understanding, now they got it. It's right there. They just swipe up and swipe down.
But where are they getting that information from?
The YouTube.
So where do YouTube get the information from?
Like, I don't know. Somebody's creating this content.
Exactly. So if you have a broken person giving you content on how you should do things,
And the content it can go any which way. That is the other thing to it, right? The content can be decent. It can advise them properly. It can advise them poorly.
yes.
It can go all different ways, but the point is that they see it in your household and then they see something like it. And then they create their own idea of what's going on and what needs to happen.
Exactly. And you are now influencing that little mind because, again, that little mind's a sponge. It sucks up everything, good, bad, and different.
That's going
And
on.
then the kid gets older, and then you're like, where you learn that from? You. And parents hate that because you always want to paint this picture like it's not as bad as it's not as bad as y'all think it is. Oh, the fuck it is. It's bad, real bad, because I'm me because of you. I learned from you.
Yeah.
And now, when I tell you that, now you want to change the history. Like you want to rewrite the book. Oh no, what I was trying to do as a kid, I do not know what you were trying to do. But here's how it came across to me.
This is
You
what I got from
cannot
it.
discount my feeling as a child, saying that you shouldn't feel this way, but I do. And this is how you made me feel. Now you should learn. Now, hopefully, by that time, you will change something so the kid don't come and just blast you, just tell you what kind of lousy parent you were. You as a parent should say, this ain't healthy.
Yeah.
This is not healthy for us. And if it ain't healthy for us, it ain't healthy for the kid. Because the kid is feeding, he's part of the unit. So he's eating the same garbage that we're eating. So you're now breaking a kid. You're now messing this poor kid's mind up. So when he gets out there, he's looking for love or looking for someone to share his life with. He's going to take it based on what he saw with us and YouTube. You don't know what the heck's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Mixing it all in together into a slurry of nonsense.
Exactly.
Something that we don't even know. And then we see it today where the kids have weird
Yes.
socialization and weird dating interactions.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
weird.
And you wonder where they get it from. They get it from all kinds of sources now. And like I said, when people get married first of all, you gotta get married for the right reason. And what I mean when I say that is not based on looks. It's not based on, the superficial things. You got to have intangibles, because again, you have to have somebody that y'all may have two pennies rubbed together, but you say, you know what, we're gonna go stay at a hotel and we're gonna spend time together. We're gonna look over the beach. You may not be in the penthouse, but we're gonna take our little bit of money and we're gonna sit here on the beach and huddle up and all that and enjoy each other.
Yeah, because sometimes you have to understand that you have to be getting married for the sake of no, I want to be in a marriage.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I know I want to exist in this relationship, in this type of relationship.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't matter how fine that man is, how much money he got, how faithful he claim he gonna be. If he doesn't want to coexist in the marriage,
What's the purpose?
he's not your husband.
No, he's not. And let me tell you, if I have to look at somebody's phone to see where they've been or do all that, and I put a tracker on their car, what the hell you even get married for in the first place? Now, especially if y'all he never gave you a reason to play around, or he never played around on you. And all of a sudden now you like putting trackers on him and putting stuff on his phone and checking his searches and stuff.
But it doesn't matter if they played around on you or not. At what point do you understand that you're going beyond the boundaries of something that's healthy? And what is that going to lead you to? Misery, right? Because you can't change someone's behavior by trying to control something that, you know what I'm saying? You can't control their cell phone. You can't control the GPS and where they go with their car. Because I know where you at, you won't go there anymore now.
Yeah. What
Really?
the hell? Come on now.
Really?
So what he'll do?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick a new spot. Pick me up. Let me leave my car here because the Joker got GPS tracker on. It's like you're never getting to the root cause of the situation, right? And then you probably are breeding disrespect.
Oh, you definitely are.
Because that other person would absolutely feel violated or disrespected by you.
Yes.
That hey, especially if they're not doing anything.
Oh.
Can you imagine if you're snooping through my phone, or you're tracking me and you just kind of checking up on me all the time, and I just find out randomly one day?
Well, yeah. Well, as I'm going through your phone and you sleep, I use your thumb to open up your phone so I can look and see what's going on.
Oh no, you get a random notification and I'm walking past your phone and it's you tracking me. Can you imagine?
It's even more simple. She says to you, I thought you were supposed to go to the gym after work today. Because maybe you changed your mind. You didn't feel like it. I was going to the gym. I got tired. I said, no, I'm going to go get something to eat and I'm going to go home.
Yeah, but how you know?
But how'd you know I didn't go to the gym?
Oh.
And I never even brought it up.
Yeah. So it's like,
oh,
could you imagine? So it's a violation whether you're doing something or not.
it really is.
And
It
it
truly
just,
is.
yeah, it speaks to our ability and our willingness to communicate and then do something with what we are talking about.
Yes, yes, and again, if you got to do that, you got to really, really evaluate where you are, not just first of all where your relationship is, and then where you are.
Yeah.
Because if this person gave you no hint of ever playing around on you, and all of a sudden you're gonna start doing that, that tells me that baggage, those many bodies in your bag, you
It's
pull out a
still
body
there.
and put them outside and say, oh,
Yes.
such as he didn't do that at first, but he started to. But the difference is that was a boyfriend. This is your husband. So there should be a different criteria for your boyfriend than your husband. Because if I ever have to do that to my wife, it's more than a rap. Because we're gonna have to. Here's how I'm feeling, and here's what you did. She was like, I don't know why you feel like it because blah 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 blah. Oh, okay. What's wrong with me? What did I see that made me think that way? And then I gotta be honest, like, okay, is that something that I saw, or maybe I'm living foul? Maybe I'm out there doing some stuff, and now I'm seeing her. She kind of doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
So maybe she doing what I'm doing.
Get that paranoia.
Kicks in.
Yes, it
Because
does.
now you're like, and again, what did I say? Or previous, probably a few podcasts ago, you're my Louis the 13th. So my Louis the 13th better only have my DNA on it. My prints better be on that
Yep.
DNA. Now, if somebody else is on there, we're gonna have a problem. If someone sample that, we're gonna have a problem. Now, no word that I have another Louis the 13th that I've been sipping on this side that you don't know nothing about. Get that.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're mine.
Yep.
But now, wait a minute, I saw another print. What could she be doing? So this is why you have to be clear, very clear, before you walk down the aisle, before you spend thousands and thousands of dollars, that you have issue. If you have an issue with that person, any issue, you need to voice it.
And then throughout the relationship.
Yes.
So let's be clear beforehand, before we get to the altar. But let's continue a clear conversation throughout the journey.
People don't understand it. People think once you get married, it's a rock. Boom. It's just the way it's going to be from now until the day you die. No, the rock is what they're going to put on your grave when it's all said and done. Along the way, it's water. Like we said in the beginning, it's water. It flows. It changes. You get older. Like I said, the 21-year-old you is not the 26-year-old you. The 26-year-old is not the 40-year-old you. The 40-year-old you won't be the 50-year-old you.
Yep.
A whole lot of things going to happen between those years, and those are all adjustments that we all have to adjust to because we're not the same. We're never going to be the same. There's no way you're going to be the same. It's like people dying. People always say you'll get over someone dying, time heals all wounds. That's an untruth. That's a lie. What happens is you adjust because you adjust your life accordingly so you can continue to survive and to continue to grow and continue to make decisions based on your new situation. All our situations will change because as we keep moving, 10 years from now, a lot of people we know may not be here.
Yep.
So we're going to adjust to that. You're going to deal with the hurt. You're going to keep adjusting. Same thing with marriage. Certain things are going to happen. You got to adjust to it accordingly, and you got to do what you got to do. And you have to look at it and say, okay. And you're going to be uncomfortable because it's new to you. Again, all these changes are new to you, to the person, and to you. So if you say we're a unit, we're going to go through all these changes together. I'm going to walk that. I walk that aisle. We're going to walk hand in hand. We're going to deal with each other side by side. Not somebody behind me or in front of me. We're walking side by side. I hear it all the time. Well, she's behind me. No. You're a team. You're a unit.
Yes,
You're working
yes.
together.
Yeah.
So
Supposed to
if
have
you-
each other's back.
Yes. If she hurt, you hurt. Why we hurt?
Yeah.
And then you have to have that discussion. But if you can't do that, if you don't trust your mate, if for any reason you don't trust your mate, you ask yourself the question, did something change once you got married, or was that in your mind before you got married? And you thought along the way it's going to change.
And even if something did change along the way, what you gonna do about it now? Are you gonna be silent about it? Things will change. They must change. What you gonna do about it? Are
What
you
you
gonna open up your mouth and say, "Hey, I've noticed something's different. Hey, this doesn't, sing to me the way it used to. Hey, you used to go out all the time and you still go out now, and I kind of thought you would slow down over the years, and you kind of haven't. Can we talk about that? Hey, you're working too much. I mean, when do you plan on cutting back? Talk about that.
You have to, because your plans may be one thing, and you may have to work a little harder to get there. But if you see working harder or longer, more than you expected,
Yeah.
because plans change.
Plans
so
do change.
You have to say, hey, I see you busting your butt. Listen, why don't we, let's not go for the $1 million house. Let's go for the $500,000 house.
Yeah.
And we'll be happy with $500,000 because we're in it together. You know, we'll be able to, you enjoy it. Because it makes no sense for you to work yourself to death. We get the house, you die, boom. Now I'm in a big $1 million house.
Reevaluate yourself. Where you going?
Yes.
That's what the communication is going to always have you do, right?
Yes.
Say, hey, we made a plan. We're trying to get to here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like how it's going. It's not really serving us. Let's maybe try to get there to kind of free up some of you and see if we'll be happy like that.